What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab. Me, Lone Fox, and it's spoilers day 2. And I just want to quickly pop back into yesterday's cards. This is the stuff from yesterday that we've already gone over, but I don't know what happened. I guess I should have refreshed my browser just once more before continuing on, but a couple more were released after I stopped recording. This epic werewolf, and then a couple of other cards that are pretty good for vampire tribal. So first one from yesterday that we missed is this volatile arsonist. It's the same cost as a Goldspan Dragon, but I think this would make a really sweet either just play it in the current Gruul werewolves list, or try and make some sweet red aggro werewolf with the Reckless Stormseeker and others. So hasty 5-drop 4/4, same as Goldspan, but it has menace, and it's not legendary. And when when it attacks, it deals 1 damage to each of up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target player, and up to 1 target planeswalker. So it attacks straight in and splashes 1 damage to pretty much everything on top of the 4 damage. And then at nighttime, it just becomes 2 damage instead of 1, and it becomes a 5/5. I really like this card. I'll take this over Goldspan, like in an aggro red deck, or maybe some of both. This is really good, I think, and I can't wait to play with it. There's nothing much else I can say about this card other than kick ass. Mono red aggro. I hope it kind of starts to come back a little bit, just to break the monotony of mono green and mono white dominating, and it'll be so different from the Embercleave days that I'm kind of excited to see what will happen. It's starting to shape up. Reckless Stormseeker was an important piece. Now this could be really cool. Anyway, next up, Change of Fortune. 4 mana, sorcery, 3 and 3 colorless, 1 red. Discard your hand, then draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. That's really nice. That's really nice. Kind of typical text for a red draw spell, but slightly differently worded. You could actually get a lot here. You could discard your entire hand potentially. And there's some decks that really, want you to do that. So that could be really good. And from the flavor, it does seem like it should be played in some sort of vampire list. And I can see why, because, even just Olivia that was spoiled yesterday, reanimating stuff, if you can put a bunch of stuff in your graveyard in the early game, then that's pretty good. But there's so many other ways of doing that. And one way, which is obvious, and we already talked about yesterday, is also shown in this card, Vampire's Vengeance, which is a sweet little one-sided sweeper, like kind of a crippling fear, but only for 2 damage, but it only costs 3 mana, and it's instant speed. Vampire Vengeance deals 2 damage to each non-vampire creature, and you create a blood token on top of it. And this is the thing I was talking about with regards to getting stuff into the graveyard. These blood tokens are going to be sweet because you pay 1, you tap it, you discard a card, you sacrifice it, and you draw a card. So rummaging away, plus a little one-sided sweeper. I think this is going to be really good. I don't know. Could main board it. There'll be some deck, matchups that it's completely dead. But against mono white, like 1 turn sooner than you can get to the crippling fear or something like that. This is a nice little sort of glue card. Their early game stuff with 1 toughness that there's lots of. You can just up to 2 toughness. That's a lot of the stuff that mono white plays. So nice little bit of sideboard action there probably. So now we're moving into today's new stuff. There's been quite a bit. It even tells you like who spoiled it. Can you imagine Croaky's got this card? We'll get to that in a second. But quite a bit today, and we'll do a little refresh at the end. These only just came out now, like before I hit record, so there's still stuff coming. Before I decide to stop this one, I'll check it out right to the end. First up, we've got Dread Fuge. Oh, Fugery? Is that Fuge? Anyway, I don't think so. But Dread something. 1 mana sorcery that has Cleave. This is kind of like a Thoughtseize. It's pretty intense. It's like the hand hate is getting, they're getting a lot of pieces. So it's either 1 mana, and its target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it with mana value 2 or less. That player discards that card. Or later in the game, you can cast it for its Cleave cost of 3 mana, 2 colorless and a black, and then you just remove the words within the square brackets. So it just becomes target player reveals their hand, you choose a non-land card from it, that player discards that card. I think that's actually really good. It's just like an altogether better sort of a, I don't know, if it's fully just a direct upgrade of Duress, kind of. I really like it. It's going to suck to play against it. It's like pretty good turn 1. You're still showing them your whole hand. And, turn 1, I'm probably holding a turn 2 play with a mana value 2 or less that he'll just discard. And then later in the game, if you top deck 1, you can cast it for 3 and you have more mana and then just get me to discard anything else and reveal my hand again. I think that's really good. It's cool. Next up. Wizards. They do design these things often 2 years in advance, so they can't just go back and change things. This has been in the cards for a long time. Pun intended. But it's another Izzet turn spell. So far the Cleave cards have been really good. Alchemist Gambit. So it's either 3 mana, and you just take a turn after this one. Except during that turn, damage can't be prevented, which is ridiculous. And at the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. There's ways of stopping that. It'll be a triggered effect. Some people have already brought up the blue guy from yesterday. That was really good. Overcharged Amalgam. You just flash it in at the beginning of your... when is it? That was... at the beginning of that turn's end step. So you got to have 6 mana. It's only 1 less, really. You can flash in Overcharged Amalgam. And... oh, no, sorry, because you get another turn. So then you untap, and then you flash in Overcharged Amalgam. And you can counter your own triggered ability. That's, someone brought that up already. There's also that other Epiphany card if you're playing in Historic that you can do that with, where you just counter the triggered ability of the Alchemist's Gambit that's going to make you lose the turn, and then you don't lose the turn. You've just taken an extra turn for 3 mana, which is pretty cool. But, anyway, you can cast it for 7, which is the cost of Alrund's Epiphany Unforetold. And it becomes an Izzet card, 4 colorless, 2 blue, 1 red. And then you just remove the words in square brackets, and it just becomes take an extra turn after this one. During that turn, damage can't be prevented, and then you don't lose the game. It's pretty crazy, and at least it's exiles, as the same as Alrund's Epiphany. So it seems like they always kind of design them very similarly. Maybe just a 2 of in an already really busted deck, alongside Alrund's Epiphany is just going to make it even more toxic than it already is. I can foresee this being a problem, but let's see. Maybe not. Maybe Alrund's Epiphany gets banned and this is all they're left with. And and then it's just 7 mana. They don't get the birds. It still gets exiled, and they can like use it as a last ditch effort if they don't have the mana to cast it. For the cleave cost, you can just play it for 3 mana and hope to win the following turn. And if you don't, then you lose, or you have a way to stop that trigger. Meh. Alchemist's Gambit, everybody. Another turn, extra turn card printed into standard. Whoopee! Next up, we have something in Japanese that I cannot read, so we're going to have to click into it. Witness the Future. 2 colorless, 1 blue. Sorcery. Choose target player and up to 4 target cards in their graveyard. That player shuffles those cards into their library. Okay. You do it to yourself. Look at the top 4 cards. Okay, no, okay. Put one of them into your hand and the rest into the bottom of your library in a random order. So you can do it to both, but you can do both to yourself. Choose target player and up to 4 target cards in that player's graveyard. So you target yourself, and then that player shuffle those cards into the library. And then you look at the top 4 cards of your library, and you put one of them into your hand and the rest into the bottom of your library in a random order. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I kind of like that. I know CGB is going to love that. Sort of like the Devious cover-up that was just reprinted in Midnight Hunt, where you just bring in, you know, your important counter spells and, you know, instants and sorceries and stuff like that back into the library, so you can keep drawing into them, and then you know, get to draw a card as well, and you look at the top 4. That's pretty crazy. Misalaki. Witness the Future. Next up, this looks like supposed to be the same card, and it's the front and the back side. Yeah, it's spoiled by the same person. Okay, so the this must be some German Codegebundener Geist Seelencodetafel. It's the soul code table. Sorry to my German viewers. And the code-bound Geist. When it's on its artifact side, it enters the battlefield with 3 omen counters. Whenever a creature card is put into your graveyard, you remove 1 omen counter from the soul code tablet. Then you transform it if there are no omen counters on it. Okay, cool. Even in a sack deck, if your own stuff dies. No, it has to get put into the graveyard. So it can't be tokens. It has to be an actual creature dying. And then eventually transform it and it becomes the code-bound Geist. Can only block creatures with flying. Draw 2. You can pay 4 to draw 2 and discard 1. Goodness. Beg your pardon. Oh, I got the chills. Here we go again. Those of you who've been watching me for a while know I've got a huge sneezing problem. Skull King Killer. 4 mana for a vampire assassin. 4/2. When it ETBs, target creature and opponent control gets -2/-2 until end of turn if that opponent controls no other creatures. Meh. Okay, managed to save that one. I don't like this card. It's not even that good in draft. I don't get it. Meh. 4 mana, uncommon. 4/2. It's not even that good at a baseline. And then the effect isn't even that good because at that point in the game, most opponents will have more than 1 creature. Yes, whatever. Yeah, it's not that good. Next up, we have this really strange card. And this is the only one that I've already seen today, except for Alchemist Gambit, just because I couldn't... my plan was to not look at spoilers until the time I was going to record this. and then I will do like I did yesterday and be seeing them for the first time. And that's mostly true, except for Runo Stormkirk, because it just kept coming up in some of my Facebook groups, and I couldn't help myself because it looked really interesting. And I guess it's either the case of we still have some cards that we need to see from the set that are going to be the support cards for Runo, or it's mostly sort of meant as a commander, and there's stuff in from all the sets that will synergize really well with him. But let's see. It's 3 mana, 1 colorless, and then Dimir, 1 blue, 1 black for a vampire cleric. 1/4 flying, and when the ETBs, you put up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. At the beginning of the upkeep, you look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If a creature card with mana value 6 or greater is revealed this way, transform Runo Stormkirk. And then he becomes Crothus, the Lord of the Deep, a Kraken horror with flying, 3/5, and whenever it attacks, you create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of another target attacking creature. If that creature is a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent, you create 2 of those tokens instead. I was just, during my video that I did about Marrow's blog post with his teasers, I talked about this card from Theros Beyond Death. So I'm just going to quickly show you, like, those of you who play Historic, the small number of my viewers that play Historic. Boop. I can go like this. I can go like this. And I was talking about, because I remember that line. I used to play with this card a lot. That line of text. Boop. That was in the blog post, and it's from this card, the Serpent of Yawning Depths. Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, and Serpents. Same as what it says on Crothus. Can't be blocked. So imagine you attack, and you have also got a Serpent of Yawning Depths in play, which you got into your hand because of, that's how you flipped Crothus in the first place, or Runo into Crothus in the first place, and then you attack and you target the Serpent of Yawning Depths. So not only is Crothus unblockable and the Serpent of Yawning Depths, but you make two of those serpents on top of it, so it'll be 6, 12, 18 plus Crothus. That's a 1-turn kill right there. So pretty cool. Let's see if we get some Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, or Serpents, because the current ones that we have available in Standard are very, very few right now. We switch this up. Like 1 Kraken, and there's a few others, but it's nothing much. As far as Serpents, it's probably the best one. It's then you'd have to play it in a teamer deck. Doesn't really fit the creature. I don't know. You know the one I mean, Coma, the Cosmos Serpent. And there's a few others, but then you've also got the legendary rule, which would be a problem, because if you make a copy of those attacking creatures with Crothus, you wouldn't get your legendary rule would screw you. So we'll have to see if it's mostly meant as something for the commander guys, or if there's going to be some Krakens, Leviathans, Octopuses, or Serpents, high mana value ones that are printed in the set. Next up, Chandra, Dressed to Kill. So we've got our second Planeswalker, a 3 mana Planeswalker. It's been a while since we've had one that's cheap. The last one was Kasmina in Strixhaven, and I think with Chandra it'll be the only 2-3 mana Planeswalkers in the format. And a red one at that. I'm just talking about that one I read earlier. This might be an interesting piece. Let's get a little zoom in on it. So Chandra, Dress to Kill. Okay, I was hoping to get the... Oh, there it is. Yeah, there we go. Do I get that alternate art if I do the same Holy Oni thing on the main screen? No. Okay, so let's check this out. I prefer this art. This art is sweet. I'm not such a fan of this one. But Chandra, Dress to Kill, 3 mana, 3 loyalty planeswalker, +1. Add 1 red mana. So it comes into the battlefield. You can +1 straight away. Add 1 mana to your mana pool, and perhaps shock something. And it deals 1 damage to up to 1 target player or planeswalker. It's not creature, so it just goes face or planeswalker, which is pretty cool. In the mirror, I guess, could be interesting. But it's nice because it can, like, then next turn you play a land +1 and you can straight away cast a Goldstrand Dragon, for example. So it's a little bit of ramp action in red, where to cast your turn 5 thing on turn 4, while at the same time having +1 a planeswalker twice. The second +1, which is cool, it's got 2 different paths to, let's say, the ultimate. Is exile the top card of your library. This is a typical red Chandra kind of effect. I feel like this is like very similar to the Chandra we got in, I think it was Standard 2021, Core Set 2021. Very similar. It was a 5-drop though, and it was like 2 damage, and it didn't add the mana. And then it did the same thing here with it was like discard your hand, draw 3. You can cast those spells this turn or something like that. Very similar. And then it's got the -7. It's ultimate, so it'll take you, 4 turns if you're +1ing every turn, and nothing hits you in 4 turns. You can -7, and you exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may cast the red spells from among them this turn. Get an emblem with whenever you cast a red spell, this emblem deals X damage to any target, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. What? That is such a sick finisher. Wow. You untap. That would be you play it on turn 3. So on turn 7. Right? Yes. You untap, -7, and you just cast like a few spells. And then you just go face with all the damage. Cool Planeswalker. Let's see how that ends up playing out. We're interested to see what deck ends up playing it, if any. But I like the design, and it's nice to have a little low on the curve Planeswalker in some of these spellcaster decks. And I think alongside this card that we'll get to in a moment, it's going to be really good. Next up, a Selesnya Rare. So this could be the training Selesnya Signpost Rare for the deck, for the set. Torens, Fist of the Angels. Training. So whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, you put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you create a 1/1 green and white human soldier creature token with training. Oh, I like that a lot. I like this a lot. Oh wow, I like this a lot, man. And there's this card from yesterday as a finisher in a Selesnya counters deck, which is shaping up really nicely. This one. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them have base power and toughness 4/4. So they get boosted if they were lower than 4/4 in the first place, because their base power and toughness gets raised to 4/4, and then they gain flying and plus their +1/+1 counters that they had put on them previously, and they become angels with flying in addition to the other types. Wow, sick. I wonder if it's going to be fast enough to beat on all the good control sweepers and stuff that are being printed and already exist. Will still be a card like, let's say, a what was it called from I think it was also Corsair 2021. It was a green instant, makes everything indestructible in hexproof. Oh my god, I can't remember the card name. Anyway, something like that, that we can make weenie decks a little bit more resilient to sweepers or able to rebuild quickly. But this is a good card in my opinion, because you need to play a bigger creature than it on turn 4, and then on turn 5 you can start attacking and actually making it bigger. But on turn 4 you can already attack. No, it's whenever you cast a creature spell, you create a 1/1. So then you cast something bigger than Torens on turn 4 that then you can start training Torens with. But then by playing that creature on turn 4, you're creating already a soldier 1/1. Then let's say the turn 5, you attack with all 3 of them, and Torren gets +1/+1, becomes a 3/3. You make the 1/1 or 2/2, and the thing you attacked with will be either 3/3 or 4/4 already. It's pretty slow. It's pretty slow, but it could be interesting. And it's a cleric, and it's a human. I like it. I like Torrens. I like this card. Like, charge with me, and we'll train as we're charging. Next up, we have a crazy good card. 4-drop, in the shaping up Izzet Dragons deck that just keeps getting more and more good pieces. This is another one. This is a really, really good card. Mythic. Our first Mythic today? No, we've also had Chandra here. But whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you create an XX red dragon illusion creature token with flying and haste, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. You exile the token at the beginning of the next end step. So you can either cast a removal spell during your opponent's turn and create a defensive little dragon. Say a little 3/3. You cast a Cathartic Pyre. You make a 3/3 little blocker during your opponent's turn, and you get rid of one of their creatures. Or you can cast something, bigger, like let's say a Heated Debate for 3 mana, or let's say, I don't know, Mana Spent. So it's kind of this. Oh, that's good. That's the same as the egg, which will definitely be in this deck as well. The Smoldering Egg, mono red egg deck. Wow, gonna be insane. So you cast something like Cinderclasm with Kicker, or I'm trying to think of something that makes it value go up, the mana spent go up. There's that new Light Up the Night, the X damage spell from a Midnight Hunt. If you do that for 4, for example, you'd make a 4/4 plus, and of course it's got haste, so you're attacking for 8 on turn 5. Or you just play a Goldspan Dragon, attack, and then off of the treasure the Goldspan creates, you cast a Dragonfire, remove something that has up to 4 toughness, because you have 2 4/4s on the battlefield, and you create. No, okay, because then the hasty boy wouldn't be attacking as well. You have to do it pre-combat. But still, this card is busted. It's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be super good, super fun to play, crap to play against. People are gonna try this in all sorts of shells, as well as I know I am for sure. Another nice dragon, and it's on curve. Way better than Galazeth. I can see it being a mono red, like Smoldering Egg, you play that Dragonkin Berserker, you play this guy, you play Goldspan, and then you just play a bunch of burn spells. Oof. Epic. Next up, this is another really good one. I saw little bits and bobs of this on Facebook as well. Just a little bit of early spoilers. I couldn't stop myself. It was just kept coming on my phone. Voice of the Blessed. It's a spirit cleric. Spirit cleric. Two really relevant creature types. And it's a 2-drop. It's kind of like Daxos cost. 2 white pips. As long as Voice of the Blessed has 4 or more. So, okay, every time you gain 1 or more life, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. It's already a 2/2, so you need to gain life twice. As soon as that happens, it gains flying and vigilance. Already that becomes like it'll be a 6/6 flying with vigilance at that point. Then, if you get 10 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it gains indestructible. It's such a potent 2-drop in this like life gain counters deck, and it's a spirit cleric, so it can be in like so many different builds. I can't wait to play with this one. Epic card. It's going to be really obnoxious to play against life if life gain sort of makes a nasty reappearance. But I could see this being everywhere. You play the 1-drop cleric, the new one that gains you life whenever something enters the battlefield. Can't remember, veteran something. Then you play this guy. Then you play Torens. Then you play something else on turn 4. It's like perfect little curve in a Selesnya deck. Every time a soldier enters the battlefield, you trigger the 1-drop cleric that puts that you gain a life that puts a counter on this guy. Eventually, it gets bigger than Torrens. You're attacking. You're putting counters on everybody. It's like an endless loop. Because as long as he keeps getting bigger, then training keeps working. As long as the creature has greater power. Whew. Nice. There we go. That could work. Next up, we have another card with Cleave. These have been crazy so far. This is a rare one, so get ready. 3 mana. Normally, 1 colorless, 2 black. Destroy all creatures with mana value 2 or less. Wow, a little micro sweeper against white. That is just insanely good. That is just insanely good, man. It's like a Blood Chief's Thirst that kills everything that costs 2 or less. Against the weenies decks, this is gonna against your goblins, you name it. This is gonna be so good. And then later down the line, if you top deck it in the late game, it's an Orzhov card. Yes, you guys know how much I love me some Orzhov. Cast it for its cleave cost, 4 colorless, 1 white, 1 black, and then you remove the stuff in the brackets, and it just becomes destroy all creatures. Comes like a general board wipe. On turn 6, it could be earlier with some treasures or whatever, some ramp. But that is cool. That is a cool little tool against mono white. That's going to put mono white in check. Hallelujah. Whew. And I like playing black, so that's not a problem. That's a welcome card. That is a welcome card in my Orzhov control deck that I've been trying to build for the last couple of days. More on that in tonight's next video. Tune in for that if you'd like to. Check my Orzhov control list. Next up, we're getting a lot of these Geists and more spirits, which is good. Dawnheart Geist. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 2 life. I haven't seen many good enchantments so far. But 2 life gaining is pretty good. What have we got? We could be casting Rally the Ranks. We'd be casting maybe a Showdown the Scalds in our Jeskai Spirits deck. 1/3, 2-drop. Gains you life. Pretty good, pretty good. Beg your pardon. Next up, we have a dual-sided card. Ojo Revelador. Cortinas Encubridoras. The revealing eye, and then the something curtains. My Spanish isn't that great. Let's have a look. The concealing curtains. Okay, so it's a creature wall, 4 toughness, with defender, obviously. And you can pay, you just pay 2 colorless and 1 black, just a 1-drop, 0/4 war. I can see why that's rare. That's really good against aggro. And then you can pay 3 and transform it. And it becomes the Revealing Eye. At which point it gains menace, and it when it transforms, target opponent reveals their hand. Choose a non-land card from it. If they do that, player discards that card and draws a card. Oh, I like that. It's like suddenly this eye, and you have to show your hand and discard on turn 3, and then you attack 3 damage. So it's been a nice little blocker, and then on turn 3 you can transform it and attack. It'd be cool if you could transform it back and forth. There's a few cards that can do that in Midnight Hunt. There's one that I actually still really want to play, like this mirror thing. It's in blue. But this looks really nice. I like that. Nice flavor-wise, and probably pretty good card, actually. Turn 1, 0/4, Defensor. That's not bad. And becomes a menacing guy that discards your... that's really, really good. Next up, Hallowed Haunting. Here's an enchantment. Is that maybe going to have something to do? It's got some geists floating around there. As long as you control 7 or more enchantment creatures you control have flying and vigilance. Yeah, so this is deck. Wow. Okay, so that new auras deck that's shaping up with the new disturb mechanic where the spirits come back as auras. So that'll count, you'll either have them as creatures or enchantments. And if you have 7 or more enchantments, so post sweeper, let's say, you can play one of these because all your guys that came into play as spirits, you're now going to be casting again as enchantments. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you create a white. So, oh, wow, that's perfect. You get swept. All your spirits that have disturbed, the new ones, let's say, and some of the old ones, all end up in your graveyard. You've got this new hand there of stuff that you'll be able to cast next turn. You start off by playing Hallowed Haunting, you rebuild, and you'll have hopefully maybe a little bit more mana left over, and so that you can double cast. But that's not necessary. You can then, for the following turn, start rebuilding. But whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you create a white spirit creature token with this creature's power and toughness are each equal to the number of spirits you control. What? I can see why that's mythic. That's going to be so sick. You just, start casting your disturbed creatures again, and then your disturbed auras again onto those creatures, and you're making a spirit every time that happens. The disturbed creatures are coming back as spirits, so it counts towards the total. So that, wow, that's going to be sick, and it's nicely costed. That's going to be so good, and that's disturbed deck. I can't wait to. That was probably one of my favorite decks to play with, style-wise from Midnight Hunt. So I'm really looking forward to combining Disturbed from Midnight Hunt and the Disturbed from Crimson Bowl and making a sweet new deck out of the two. Epic. Oh, we're reaching the end. Let's do a quick refresh. Oh no, that is a refresh. I just came from another page. Okay, so still. Oh, there we go. That's brand new. Archghoul of Thraben. Zombie cleric. Cool creature types. Whenever Archghoul of Thraben or another zombie you control dies, look at the top card of your library. These are all your decayed zombies. Whenever one of them dies, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a zombie card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put them into your hand, you may put them into your graveyard. So after your bunch of decayed zombies die, 4 of them. You look at the top, you're essentially then looking at the top 4 and either Graveyard. Oh, it's a zombie. I'll keep that. No, that's crap. I don't want it. Graveyard. Ooh, zombie. I'm gonna keep that. And the following turn, you could have potentially drawn 3 new threats that you can start deploying in your cheap aggro zombie deck. That's gonna be super sweet. I really, really like that. I really, really like that. For an uncommon, I think that's going to be a glue card, and it's probably going to be very important in limited as well. We'll have to see how the tribes shape up in limited, because zombies were definitely the best in Midnight Hunt draft. From what I experienced and from what I saw in Worlds and from what I heard. Next up, Halana and Elena. I like that. It's another one of these like dual planeswalker type things that we've had in the past. Was the Royal Scions, but this is on a creature. Legendary creature, Human Ranger. First strike, reach on a Cruel body. Cruel is red and green. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is Helena and Elena's power. That creature gains haste until end of turn. Is that just really good, or is it just me? First strike reach, okay, that's pretty cool. Neither here nor there. I guess if you grow it, you can make this bigger with whatever, plenty ways of making it bigger. Then at the beginning of combat on your turn, you put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control. So anyway, it's at base going to be 2 +1/+1 counters. That creature gains haste. Wow. You just start putting 2 +1/+1 counters and haste to everything as it comes down, turn 5 onwards. That's buster. Interesting to see where that shows up. I'm trying to think of like cards that I would play with this in Gruul. Plenty. You could like crew your Seeker's Chariot straight away as it comes down the following turn 5. Put the counters on it and give it haste. Make it into a 6/6 that copies your cat token straight away and gets bigger on turn 5. That's pretty good. Interesting to see how that plays out as well. All right, here's another dual-sided card in Spanish. Atalo de Sarjeda. Ashejador de la Alcantarilla. No idea. Sarjeta is a sewer? Or is Alcantarilla the sewer? Oh, yeah. Okay. Gutter shortcut. I think Alcantarilla is a gutter. Oh, no, it's a shortcut. Anyway. Sewer Stalker. 3. Oh, okay. So the casting cost. Okay. So this is the Sewer Stalker. Alcantarilla must be Stalker. No. Stalker is a Shekador. 3 colorless, 1 blue for a 3/3 spirit that cannot be blocked while attacking alone. And then it has Disturb, and it comes back as an enchantment aura. So here's one for that deck we were just talking about. And the aura, enchanted creature can't be blocked if it attacks alone. Okay. So it just brings its, text onto what it gets attached to. I think that's going to be kind of a theme. That's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, we've reached the end for today. Mindless Ghoul. One more refresh. No. One more refresh. All right. Mindless Ghoul. Mind Leech Ghoul. 2 mana. Zombie. Common. 2/2. with exploit. When it ETBs and you've exploited it, each opponent exiles a card from their hand. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. 2-drop slot has got some crazy good zombies already, but in limited, I think that's going to be really good. I don't know if it'll end up like removing something from the already very busy 2-drop slot in the zombie deck, but let's see. It's pretty good. Played on like turn 3, exile a decayed token, opponent has to exile a card from their hand. There's a couple of other zombie hand hate cards, like I think it's called like Give Up Hope, something like that. Opponent discards 2 cards, you create a 2/2 decayed zombie, and then the following turn you hit him with this, and he discards another one. Could be good. But all right, that's it. That's the spoilers for today. Some really, really powerful cards. It's going to be insane. Another turns card in Izzet colors. Really powerful new 5-drop in a potential, RDW, red deck wins. Mono red aggro that I'm going to definitely try on day 1. I cannot wait. I hope I crack 4 of these with my boosters. What else really interests me? I like Torens. Chandra, it's not my kind of style, but it'll definitely fit in with this mana form Hellkite maybe, and make it a Chandra's Dragons deck. I really can. This one, like the 2-drop Dragonkin Berserker, that makes dragons when you have more dragons, and when you boast first striker, your Smoldering Egg, mana form Hellkite, full play set of Goldspan Dragon, and then maybe like 2 of the Star Mounts guy, Terror of Star Mounts. Just go full red dragons, and then the rest is just like red removal. Boom, big crazy go face removal spells, and you've got yourself a pretty sweet little deck right there that I'm also definitely going to try on day 1. But I'm starting to ramble. I really liked Hallowed Haunting as a way to rebuild post sweepers in your future Disturb deck. Well done, Wizards. That's going to be it from me for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to tune in again tomorrow for more spoiler content. I'm going to keep these coming at you every single day during spoiler season. Don't forget to tune in again later for the deck tech that I'm about to record right after this video. And I will see you all then. This is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.